I have some clips for you of George Santos, and they're kind of miscellaneous, just a couple different things unrelated. The first is him being approached by reporters and the way that he's chosen to handle questions by reporters. Take a look at this.
You're accused of fabricating almost every single part of your life. Why do you deserve to represent people in New York?
Clear the way.
Did you illegally?
Sorry.
Mr. Santos, there's some campaign finance concerns and questions about your finances.
Really?
Can you answer the
Can you guys
campaign
give me a little
finance
space,
concerns?
personal space, please?
A little personal space?
Why won't you answer our questions,
Congressman, you seem to be dodging
Don't the American
questions
people deserve
about
to
your
know
finances
answers?
and about your background.
Congressman, what about those?
You seem to be dodging questions. Yes, indeed, he seems to be dodging questions. Next moment that was my favorite here. At the end, he says, "I'll address the media on my time."
Congressman, did you misuse campaign finances?
Please clear the way.
Why won't you answer our questions?
Please
Congressman,
clear the
did
way.
you answer our
media
questions?
soon.
When is soon?
On my time.
Your time. You're representing the people of New York.
I mean, that about sums it up. This is about George Santos. He ran for office for his own ego. He is becoming a congressman and choosing not to resign for his own ego. This is all about him. This isn't about serving his constituents. It's not about answering questions to the media so that his constituents have answers. It's about him. So when he's good and ready, when he's worked up the way he's going to dishonestly bend this entire story, he will address the media on his time. On his time. Okay? Thank you. Well, here's a couple clips I have for you of two instances in the past where he's lied in interviews, and there's a million instances apparently. But the reason I want to do this is because we've talked about a lot of the lies he told. Oh, he said he went to this school that he didn't go to. He said that he worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, and he didn't. But watching him tell these lies is so fascinating. So in this instance, he's lying about the school he went to when he was younger.
100 people.
Well, I went to school not too far from where you lecture in Horseman. So
the Horseman place he didn't actually go to.
Right.
It's the Bronx for some reason happens to harvest the most pristine and elitist schools in New York when it comes to high school education, and that's a very unique thing about the Bronx. A lot of prep schools and old boys schools in your case.
100 people.
Why? Why do that? And then the next moment is so unbelievable. He calls himself a Latino Jew. Now, he has said time and time again, no, wait a second. I didn't say I was Jewish. I said I was Jew-ish, sort of, as in I love the good Jewish community or something like that. No, he meant that he thought that he had some cultural ties and that's why he was Jewish, not actually Jewish. But then it comes out that in written form, he's referred to himself as an American Jew. And now I have an example of him referring to himself as a Latino Jew.
And according to him, much of the energy that brought that red wave historically into blue cities like Queens and other parts of New York came from the Black and Hispanic community who opted to vote red in 2021. He joins us now on the Genuine Autoglass studio line. George, thank you so much for being with us today.
How's it going, Ari? Thank you for having an oxymoron Republican on the show.
I know. I was about to say that them ladies on The View don't like you very much.
No, I'm very contradictory to everything they believe in, apparently, and I break their mold, and I make it really hard for them to sell their and spew their nonsense.
You know, I got to say, I got something in common with you, because a lot of people say, well, Jews can't be Republicans either. And here I am, an Orthodox Jew who identifies as a conservative. And it seems to me like the more they play these race games, the less they realize how much these minority communities are affected badly by their policies and how much they're swinging to conservatives.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, look at me. I'm a Latino Jew. I have you beat.
Oh, we're going down the intersectional checkbox.
Okay, so you heard there he said a Latino Jew. That's how he described himself. He's not Jewish. But I actually want to address the point they're making in this because it's one that I'm so sick of. And it's the idea that liberals say you, quote unquote, can't be a Republican if ... right? So if you're Jewish is one of the things the host said. If you're gay, as George Santos perpetuates that talking point often. Or we saw Lindsey Graham during Herschel Walker's campaign saying he's going to destroy the liberals because the Democrats can't handle black Republicans. And I am so sick and tired of this. The reason why I think you're incorrect is not because you're a gay Republican, a Jewish Republican, a black Republican. It's because you're a Republican. And I disagree with the views that the Republican Party stands for, right? The reason why people make a bigger deal of individuals who fall within an identity group that the Republican Party seems to work against so often is because we as humans expect people to care more about issues that impact them directly. I don't think that should be the case. I think you should be able to care about all people, all circumstances, even if you haven't experienced those circumstances yourself, or if you're not that person or that identity group yourself. But we know generally people do experience the world that way. An example, super anti-gay Republicans a lot of times, or conservatives, evangelicals, will all of a sudden become open, will become pro-LGBTQ when their child comes out as gay or something of that sort because it impacted them and all of a sudden they saw the world differently. Again, I say, I don't think that's the most logical way to live your life. I wish people could, through observation, through learning, through exploration, come to hold views that don't actually impact them directly but are just better for society generally, but most people can't. So when I come across somebody who is in an identity group like being gay and also supports the Republican Party that has a big chunk of it that is very anti-gay, I think, wow, that's actually notable because you as somebody who are or should be more familiar with the negative outcome of the party that you're now supporting, that doesn't make sense. But it's not that I'm saying you can't or that it breaks my brain, it breaks down my worldview. It's just you are incorrect like every other person that I think is incorrect on politics, and also happen to have a bit of life experience that makes your incorrectness even more notable to me, because I would think you would be able to empathize or understand the negative consequences of Republican politics and rhetoric, policies, etc., as someone who falls within a group that the Republican Party often demonizes. That's the answer, George Santos and whoever this host is. It's not because our brains just can't fathom somebody who is Jewish, gay, black, etc., supporting the Republican Party.